Black Lives be terrorists. Why would you say that?
Or racist. What's going on?
Shout out to our boy KS.
Yes. It's 2 a.m.
Well, I can go to sleep.
Yeah, go to bed then.
Hi guys.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, just trying to get this set up.
Okay, yeah, me too. Thank you for having me in such short notice. I appreciate it.
No worries. So how's everything going? So you're
Good.
in the UK, right?
Yeah. So I've just woken up.
Oh, nice.
Early
What about
morning.
you?
Sorry?
What about you? How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Just
Sorry, what was your name?
yeah.
Just me. Sorry.
Just me.
Just
Okay.
me, okay. So you run the
Okay, how about we just do a little introduction
Yeah.
first? Introduce yourself. Talk about what you're doing and the page you've started.
Yeah, of course. So I've taken over the Imperial Sikh page. I'm a master's student studying in the physics department at Imperial this year. And I'm also president of Imperial Sikh Society. So I've taken over the page, just managing things with regards to anything related to Sikhi, but also now with the whole Kisan Morcha, I'm trying to be very vocal about that. Hence, I thought to come on the podcast, not only to kind of talk about the Kisan Morcha a bit more, but to also give a female's perspective and talk about how females really are at the forefront of Sikhi.
Mm-hmm. So
what's an example, or like what do you think
let's talk a little bit about the history.
Like how do you think one of the main things that how women are relating and kind of leading this protest, because it's like, I guess, like we can say that religion's kind of been tied into it in a way, but so what do you think?
So I feel in Sikhism there have been a lot of strong characters, a lot of strong female characters, right? This dates back to the 1500s to the 1400s, where it wasn't really seen for females to have such a dominant role. Like we hear about, I'm really bad at pronouncing names, but we hear about Martha, I think it's Kivi or something along those lines. She was a person who expanded Langar, which is the free kitchen, as you know, to what it is today. She was the wife of the second guru, and she also had active role in spreading teachings of Sikhi to women to make sure that she empowers them, etc. And that was just very unheard of back in the day, where women were always secondary to men, etc. So I think just those foundations at such an early stage in the world set the precedent of women and men are equal. And I think Sikhism is one of the very few religions that do practice that. And I think nowadays I think due to the Kisan Morcha, there's a lot more unity between males and females, and in the Kisan Morcha, you've not really heard much about males dominating. You've heard it more about being equal. So it's just nice to see that unity has finally come about once again. What do you guys have to say about that? Do you think that there is more unity, or do you think there's more segregation?
I think there's unity, but I think there's also a bit of a divide with where people stand.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of,
and I think it's to be honest, amongst our own people, a lot of it. I think the line's kind of clear now, whereas like you have our history, but then people are saying we shouldn't bring history into this, so you have like a little bit of a divide amongst those two. What do you take? What's your take on
the whole kind of division, like after the 26th, I guess?
Personally, I feel it's an attack on Sikhi, the government, etc., and everyone who is pro the bills were looking for a reason to be against the bills, that they would never really for the bills. They were just saying that they were to kind of be on the side of what's more popular. But after the 26th and after the hoisting of the Nishan Sahib flag, a lot of people who were secretly against, farming rights, etc., have now become more vocal, and they've said it was because of what happened on the 26th. And personally, I don't think there's just no ground, there's no basis for what they're saying. It's just that they wanted to find something that demonizes the movement, and they've done so, and they've used Khalistan in a negative term. They've used, Sikhism. We're here to serve. We're always here to provide longer. We're always here to help other people. But when it comes to us fighting for our own rights, that's when we get called terrorists.
Yeah.
I don't think that's correct. But yeah, so I really just feel that people are using, what happened on the 26th as an excuse to be against the farming bills.
Do you think a lot of the farmer union reps are kind of making that
Well,
an
I saw
issue?
something today. They said that they're like, don't divide anybody in India. They were saying they're just like, even with like the farmers, whatever they said, the leaders, like in the Nahang Singhs held like a press conference, and they were like, just like even with those guys, like don't even say anything. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I feel
What's
that there is some divide within the leadership of the
Mm-hmm.
Kisan Morcha. You've heard about the stories of Deep Sidhu, etc. I've not really heard much, so I'm not going to form an opinion. But I just feel, when someone's trying to do good, you shouldn't be there to put them off. And when, the blame comes and when it comes around to, oh, who did what, you shouldn't be so vocal in putting other people down. You should stand united. You should stand as one front. And I believe that until now there was this segregation within our own community, where it was each for our own, we're going to make sure that we're okay, we don't really care about anyone else. But this mortar has really brought back the cohesion, that we saw centuries ago with our gurus, which is great. But yeah, there's still a long way to go, right? But we can't fault the fact that there is a lot of progression that's currently being made because of the Kisan Morcha, which is great. And we just need to focus further on the unity. I know there's still a lot of underlying problems within our community, within, like all the gossiping and stuff that goes on, all the auntia, bitching at times. But if we just keep focusing the way we are now, right?
Yeah.
I just feel things will get better. What about you? What do you think about the whole the leadership?
The leadership? Oh, I think that I don't know. It was like everybody was with like Deep Sidhu guys and everything at the beginning. So like I don't know. Plus they didn't like commit any crime. Like they didn't even fucking do anything. Like there's no evidence or anything like that. So what what are you gonna
No,
say,
yeah,
right?
I really agree. I really agree. It's just people just opportunistic, and they were looking for someone to blame. And I don't think he's done anything bad either, but it just goes to show the sheep mentality that we have in today's society, where people are just so willing to A, put others down, but B, people are so willing to, we just don't fight for what we see as right, as much as we used to anymore. But
Mhm.
as I said before, that's slowly coming back with all of the unity. But yeah, there's still a long, long way to go.
But nobody really does any critical thinking on their own anymore. I
Mm,
mean, everybody's just listening to whatever comes on social media.
exactly, exactly. That's why we need to have people at the forefront, right? We need to have people like you guys who are raising awareness, getting people in talks. We need to
Hmm.
have people like myself who are raising awareness on your Instagram pages and through kind of universities, etc. Sometimes when people don't take initiative, we've got to take our initiative ourselves. We can't always be relying on other people. We've got to maybe sometimes just set the path for other people to follow. Because
Mhm.
not everyone's going to have the same mindsets or the same mentalities as us. But as long as we're doing the best that we can do, right, that's all that we can ask for.
So where do you think like this like goes from here? Like what do you think are gonna be like the next like kind of steps for like um let's say like navigating or like what do you think is gonna happen there or like navigating on like social media from here on?
Honestly, I want to be optimistic and I want to say everything's going to be fine, but that's just so far from the truth. Like people, we're getting censorship left, right, and center. There's Google documents that are being, used to file cases against people in India, right? That's just absurd to me. Um, I would like to think that the bills would get repealed, but I'm not 100% sure. And I would like to think that, the cohesion and the unity would continue to stick around. And I'm sure it will. I just don't know where the farmer movement is going to go. And I want to be optimistic and I want to say, that everything's going to be okay. But with Modi and his government and how corrupt it is and how kind of money orientated it is, I'm not sure what the outcome's going to be, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Mm-hmm.
think is going to happen?
How's it out in UK though? I know Boris isn't really. Boris is like best buds with
Yeah,
Modi.
and like this guy's talking about everything, and then like he can't even like he has like his own citizen locked up in India. Like, what a fucking tool. But
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like crazy what's going on there. So, how's the UK? How's like your guys' government like clash been?
So Boris signed, I think it was a 23 billion pound deal with India, and we suspect that's one of the reasons why he's staying quiet. I think a couple of weeks ago there was a Slough MP who raised kind of a concern about the Kisan Morcha with
Hmm.
Boris, and his reply was, it's an affair between India and Pakistan, which just goes to show how little he actually knows about it all. He's obviously staying quiet for a reason. The reason is the trade deals and kind of all the exports and the imports that India and the UK have between each other. And as much as I understand business, I just don't think it's right, that we're silencing people and we're letting atrocities like these happen for funding, for money, for profitable gain. But sometimes that is what it is. I'm disappointed with the government, but I am regularly disappointed with the government, so I didn't expect anything better.
Hmm.
What about you guys? How is it where you are? Are you guys?
Canada?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. What do you think?
Canada, I don't know. You can't really like. I mean, Trudeau just I think had like something to do with the vaccine.
Yeah, so they have a little friendship going on, I
Mm.
think right now, but I'm not
But
really
you never really know what the real agenda is with these
the
governments,
government at the
right?
end
It
of the
seems
day.
like there's like a bigger play to this. Agriculture is such a big sector, and I'm sure other countries want to start controlling that. It's not just India, right? So
Mm.
I'm sure like Trudeau probably isn't against the laws themselves, but he's obviously
Mhm.
against what they're doing to the protesters and everything.
How about the political like prisoners? Like, so how do you think like, you know how this whole Modi Hitler comparison has been going on? What do you think about that? Or what's your
I I would agree with the comparison just because Hitler wanted, his people to be in power. Modi wants his people to be in power. I'm not too clued up on Hitler, but Modi is using kind of Hinduism, etc., as a way to justify what he is doing, when we should all just be inclusive in every faith. It teaches to be inclusive and to treat everyone as equals, etc. So I don't think, what are these comments?
These
I don't
comments are too
think,
much. I can't
oh my
go
God,
back to India. What's going on here?
that just thrown me off. Yeah, I don't think what he's doing is right, nor do I think what's going on in the comments is right either. But
man, come on guys.
Yes, pay for the plane ticket and make sure it's business. Oh my god. Uh, I think this is why like it's a bad idea to comment on
Yeah,
this.
but anyways, so yeah,
what do you
okay. Our
think?
main point, another point of our discussion. Sorry, can you to continue about the
Oh no, I was going to say, what do you think about the comparison between Hitler and Modi?
I not sure. I guess like it seems like all the like facts are kind of there, like, and it seems like it's a pretty close comparison. Like you can't really like, and he's already done genocide before, like in
Mm.
2002. Like
Wasn't he banned from America for like
that
10
wasn't even
years?
that long ago.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, Modi's garbage.
yeah.
It's basically what it is. And
it's
How about the
basically.
social media? Like speaking of these BJP guys, right? Or the trolls or whatever they are, right? So what do you think about all those guys?
Um,
Like and like how they're just like swarms. Like we've gotten comments. Like everybody obviously has posted. You guys have probably all like encountered one of these guys. So like, what do you think about that? How have you guys dealt with all that?
it was actually really funny. Well, not funny, a bit tragic. A couple weeks ago, I organised a Farmers Plight conference with two other guys from a British organisation of Sikh students who were guys. Um, and the conference went really well. There were really no complaints. But then a couple of days later, I got all of these abusive messages from clearly a BJP supporter saying women like you should get raped,
holy
like this
fuck.
is what Sikhs deserve, etc. And I was the only one who got those messages out of the three of us who organised. And obviously it was because I'm a woman, so I'm deemed as being weaker, etc. And the comments haven't really stopped. Like I've continuously been getting comments like this because I'm affiliated with Imperial Sikh Society, but that shouldn't stop you from doing something. It's when stuff like this happens that you know you're doing something right, and you know that you're pissing them off, and that's when you've got to continue and be stronger. Um, but in terms of the bots and stuff, they're just there to distract us, right? They're just there to silence us, to censor our hashtags. I remember I posted something about Twitter censoring different platforms, different Sikh platforms, and I used the hashtag Sikh censorship, and Instagram wouldn't let me post because they said that what I was posting was pornographic. I can't pronounce the word right now, but it's just so far from the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even though those guys have these accounts that are like posting like stupid like pictures and stuff like that, and those won't get taken down. We get like 100, 200 people reporting it, and nothing even happens.
Yeah, it just goes to show that Twitter, Facebook, etc., Instagram have all chosen, the side that they're going to be on. Yet we still use these platforms. It kind of makes me skeptical, and it makes me against using these platforms. So I do think that we need to create our own platforms for Sikh-related issues.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that that's like a way we should move forward, or?
Definitely, definitely. Just because we can't trust these platforms to get our voices out there, right? Like we're probably being tracked. You're probably being tracked. It's just how it is. They want to silence the dissent.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a good. I think we should create our own narratives. I guess that we have like social media. Like, well, I guess a lot of people use Twitter and stuff like that, or even by posting on Instagram, you're just basically like documenting it in a way of like what's going on right now.
Very true. Have you
What about you?
been experiencing censorship?
Yeah, we have. I think we've gotten like shadow banned quite a bit too,
Yeah,
and like a few of our posts they don't let us post. So I mean, yeah, it's happening.
a lot of people are. I think most people who like post about the farmers' protest, like they all like their story views will be like different. Twitter has been trying to back off protest. Oh, I'm not sure.
You guys are in lockdown, so you guys aren't doing protests, right?
We're doing kind of car rallies, so we
Mm-hmm.
stormed the embassy a couple of weeks in our cars, but obviously people didn't adhere to those restrictions and they came outside, and I think a couple people were fined. Like, was it
Yeah.
£10,000 or something like that? But yeah, we're
Okay.
not really doing like walking demonstrations or anything. What about you guys? Lockdowns eased?
We have one coming up on the
We've been doing rallies.
28th, I think. I think there's one going on. We're going to be at the Vancouver Art Gallery. So I think it's going to be a drive downtown, and there's going to be speakers there and stuff like that. So if you want to come out to that, well, obviously you can. But I mean, like whoever's in
Fire out.
there, and yeah, Scott. I think there's people on Scott Road 72. Every day, every night, pretty much, and Surrey.
No, you've got to do what you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you think the women have like led kind of the protest? Because that's kind of how we're gonna have to start base the conversation off. So what did you think that you wanted to speak on, like how the women were involved
I feel
or are
just
involved? Sorry.
I feel women are just so undermined and underrated. I've seen a lot of posts that have said, "Oh, women are the mothers of this mortar. Women are the sisters, the daughters," but women are farmers as well. And some people don't really seem to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop pushing narratives that are all about kind of women being someone else's property or women being, someone else's responsibility. We are our own people
Mm-hmm.
as well. That's a very important thing that I want to touch upon. Um, I just feel going back and looking at our history, we've got so many influential women that are a part of kind of our history and that are a part of our culture. And we need to do justice by them. And we need to take note that there are, whilst some people are kind of in the mortar and some people are protesting, the women are back home who are doing the kheti, who are doing, the farming work, etc. And they need to get further recognition.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really wanted to come on this platform and just say that, as much as it is men, it's also women, and we need to work together. We shouldn't bring each other down. There's been no mention of caste either in this mortar, which is great because it just goes to further show unity. And this unity, as I previously said, just needs to continue because that's how we're going to strengthen the bond. We are united when we come together. We are united when we don't gossip, when we support each other. Like, I am very supportive of my friends. I only have 4 friends, but I'm very supportive of them. and we just need to continue in that kind of foot to ensure the longevity of the bond.
Mm.
Mm.
So what do you think about, okay, so on the caste system, because obviously, Deep Kaur, she is locked up, as well as a few others. So on the caste system in Sikhi, what do you think about that? As like, what are your thoughts?
I don't
Obviously, it hasn't been mentioned, but like, it can be mentioned other
I
time.
I don't feel like we should judge people based on caste. I think human nature is very biased in a way where we always have to, have an opinion on someone, or we always have to judge someone. I think it's most liberating when you don't form opinions of other people and instead you just let them be and you just observe them for what they are. So when it comes to caste, I don't want to ever abide by that, nor should anyone else really. I don't see the point of giving someone a hierarchy or saying that someone's better than someone else just based on their surname, or based on where they've come from, etc. It's more about the quality of your thoughts, and it's more about how nice you are as a person, and how you emulate yourself onto others to project others and lift them up, rather than like who your parents are or anything like that. I just feel that's secondary.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about casteism?
Um, um, just it is, I guess, like, um, we, I don't know, what do you think? I Casteism is, I guess, is outdated. Like, we're not really supposed to.
I have to disagree. There has been so
Women
much
is
out
out
there
there
showing
showing
women
women
farming
farming,
out there, being a farmer. There's a ton of protests that are being done in India,
led
being
by women.
planned. All right, what is he disagreeing? What are they disagreeing with?
Oh, no, definitely. I think it's the fact that I said that women are more than, you know,
Okay, so you said that, but did you feel like women are being like they're not getting that respect that they deserve,
I
or
think
was it?
they're getting the respect now, definitely, and there's
Yeah.
more respect. But I think previously there wasn't. And when the whole movement was kicking off, I did see a lot of women are mothers of the month, women are daughters, etc. But as like things have changed, there's been a lot more. Females are leading the march of females are
Yeah.
working in the Keth, etc., which I'm very happy for. And like I said, this is unity, and I hope it continues. So yeah, I do see their point. And there was also another good point, which was Rihanna and other celebrities, Mia Khalifa, female celebrities have come to stand up for farmers and have come to stand up for their rights. I read this interesting post the other day, and it was women are more vocal. They're seeming to be more vocal than men when it comes to things like this. And that's just because we've always faced oppression. So we always have the louder voice. And I'm not sure how true that is. So I do think that there is some similarity and some kind of like fruitfulness to what is being said. Um, but it just goes to show, how things used to be before, and even to be fair, how things are today, right? Where women especially are still having to fight to get their voices heard. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a cognitive bias that has now just led us to be more vocal and more opinionated when it comes to injustices like this. And it's a good thing, but also, a bad thing that needs to be improved upon.
Someone just said could use more of a female
Voice
voice in
in
union
union
leadership.
leadership. What do you think about that?
It's all male leaders in the
It's all
union, right?
males, yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be more females. And to be fair, there have been a couple of females who have stood up, and I've seen a couple of people who've kind of led the morcha who are females. I think it's hard in a society like that maybe isn't as progressive as ours to get a female to be taken as seriously as a man. And that's just my opinion. It's not a representation of what Imperial Sikh think or what the UK students think. But I think that's why it's hard. And I think also women may not be pushed as much as they are in countries such as Canada and countries such as the UK to take a stand and to speak up. But yeah, I would love to see a greater representation on the kind of panel.
Yeah.
How would you bring about that though?
Yeah, like
I
how does that
mean, we
even,
can talk about it out here, but in India, how do you think that change would come about?
Education, I feel definitely. The
So
one
we'd
of
have to bring more resources to our communities in Punjab, right? Is that what you're saying?
definitely, yeah. I think
Mm.
one of the most impactful things is education because it just starts at such a young age, and you learn so much from it. It's how you're trained to think. It's how you're trained to speak. It's your the goodness of your thoughts. And if you train yourself in a way that makes you more empowered, that makes other people more empowered, that teaches you that there is no stereotype when it comes to men or women, that we're all equal, we all have a voice, we need to be listened to, that creates a precedent for people understanding each other further and people just being more respectful of differences.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to happen instead of always teaching that I don't think it's taught that men are superior. However, I think there's a lot of ego, etc., and therefore men are seem to be stronger than women. And I think that's what stems into people thinking that like men are superior and women don't really have as much of a say. And I think women start to feel that themselves, and then they don't push themselves further.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started like a whole platform around kind of educating women and educating underrepresented people to get into kind of STEM and stuff, just because I want to smash those glass ceilings and I want to smash those barriers and I want to make people just feel more empowered and believe that they can do it. So yeah, long story short, education is the way forward.
Where do you get your inspiration from for this?
For
For
my
like everything that you do?
um
Like on speaking up on women's rights and
I
uh
don't I don't like relying on other people.
mm,
I I have I think it's just come from past experiences of never really knowing what I wanted, but then working for it and then realizing that I am capable of whatever I put my mind to. And then also seeing that how we were saying that people aren't really they don't have a they don't really think for themselves. And seeing how I can manipulate that into having people think for themselves more by kind of like getting resources out there, as you said, and then having people like form an opinion of resources that may not have been found as readily or as easily. I'm very vocal on like educating, empowering, challenging like social narratives, and I think we all need to be a bit more like that. So if I can help someone by speaking up, or if I can help someone by being more vocal, creating platforms such as Sikh Society, my co-founded mentoring scheme, etc., then that is something that I'm happy to do to progress society, as cliche as it may sound.
Mm-hmm. So do you think you'll be visiting India after all this?
I think I'm like, no, I think
Are we all blacklisted?
in
So like, how
India,
are we gonna get these resources out there if we're all blacklisted? All of
I,
us.
yeah, no, we're
The
all black.
visas are canceled.
No, that is very, very true. I thankfully have connections with Carl Said, etc.
mm-hmm.
So I've been in communication with Ravi Singh to kind of get a couple of resources or to do a couple, good things. He's a great, great, amazing guy. I really, really look up to him. But yeah, through him, hopefully we'll be able to bring out change in other people like him, right? Because he's not the only one, thankfully. But also, just because we can't physically go there doesn't mean we can't help. We can create
Mm-hmm.
resources online. Like I was saying, create our own web space, etc., to give those resources to other people. And in the long term, I do want to start a business in Punjab that aims to help Punjab. Punjab is currently a very agricultural sector, I mean, an agricultural state, and we need to progress it further. We need to get it into the IT tech kind of world, because that is really where the money is, where the strength is, etc. But that will
Mm-hmm.
all come with time.
Bitcoin, right?
Sorry.
Bitcoin?
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin in Punjab.
Yeah, for all of that.
Punjab needs to grow wheat first.
Yeah, no, for
Stop
real.
what he already does, bro.
No,
uh,
it's we need to start branching out, right? We can't rely on agriculture, we can't rely on rice, wheat, etc. for all of our life, especially with the soil issue right now and the water issue, etc.
GMO too, right? The genetically modified seeds.
Mm, mm,
Right.
yeah, there's just so many issues within Punjab, right? And we're tackling them as they come, but it seems like they're endless. We have a cancer train. That's how bad things are, right? Um, and the government doesn't really seem to be doing much. They just seem to be caring more about other states that have more of a kind of Hindu population,
Yeah.
because they're they aren't inclusive at the moment.
so what do you think like politically could happen next that would like give like a push? Do you think that like other like the US guys need to get involved and stuff like that? Or what happens at like a global level next, do you
I,
think?
I think we just need to keep on, telling our followers, as people are saying in the comment section, we need to keep on tweeting, keep on raising awareness, because let's be real, the government aren't really going to do much, right? They're more invested in their trade deals, etc. So it's really down to us to keep on raising awareness, to keep on pressurizing governments to speak up. We need to get more celebrities, tag more celebrities, do more podcasts with other people, write articles, etc. Just really educate and make people more aware of what's going on. Because right now I'm very happy to see that people who aren't Sikh are now getting involved. I see, Gore, I see, a lot of other people just trying to raise awareness and show solidarity, which is great. Like last week I featured in a Tamil podcast. So just seeing that unity was amazing. We just need to carry this on, because especially with communities that have faced oppression, so the Tamils have faced the Tamil genocide, they really feel our pain. And it's when you feel the pain and when you can recognize it, that's when like good results happen, because you're both showing solidarity against a fascist regime that has tried to conquer and divide. So just getting more people on board is really what we need to do, because government isn't really going to do much.
Yes, was it important to put the Nishan Sahib up, and also how many people know why the Nishan Sahib was put up in the past?
I think that was the first question.
The importance of the Nishan Sahib.
Please talk about the Nishan Sahib's role in the. So what do you think about the Nishan Sahib's role in the protest?
I don't think it was anything that we need to say was bad. I don't think it was anything terrible. I think the morcha is kind of led off of Sikh spirit, and therefore if they want to raise the Nishan Sahib, they are more than
There should be nothing wrong with that.
thought it was pretty. I think most of us thought it was pretty sick.
No, I agree, and I feel also the tricolour. I'm not sure what flag is currently at the Red Fort, but I think there was a mention of the tricolour being hoisted above the current flag that was up there or something, and the Nishan Sahib was below, that flag. So it just goes to show how people really just want to twist stuff to seem against the farming bills.
Plus, there was an India flag there too.
Yeah, exactly.
India flag.
Unfortunately. I'm just kidding.
3 simple words. Raj Karega Khalsa.
That's it.
What else is there?
Do you guys have any other questions? And
anybody have any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Facts. And history was put up at temple so you can see from far away. The media's already hoping we make this.
So, what do you think about this judge's comment?
What was it? In history. I don't get the comment.
Yo, Judge. Nothing.
Can you rephrase, please? Sorry, it's really early in the morning.
Will Khalistan be the end result from the movement?
I don't know. I don't think the Indian government treats us correctly. And I think we need to defend, and we need to kind of self-sustain ourselves, because we are all we've got. But given the fact that we're on the border, etc., I'm not sure what my opinion is. I'm not for or against. It's just I need to research more into it.
Makes sense.
What about you guys? What do you think about Kurdistan?
I think that it shouldn't be labeled as terrorism, and I just think it's more, I don't know, it's just kind of confusing, to be honest, because there's like the one side and there's like the other side, and like, what side does everybody want? So other than that, I think the Sikhs have a right to be sovereign if they want.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the negative connotations that are around Khalistan.
It's not a bad word. I think we need to embrace the word and accept it. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Like they try to put it in a negative way, but I see nothing wrong with the word. And it's sad when your own people don't wanna,
Exactly.
I mean, that's what makes it worse.
I'm sure people have said worse words in their life.
Yeah.
The scared, right? And it's just trauma, and it's just people have affiliated Khalistan to terrorism. They've affiliated Khalistan to, just really negative connotations, and that is why people, including Sikhs, are very scared to speak up about Khalistan. It's just integrated trauma, right, over the past decades of everything that's happened.
What's your take with someone that says that this is just a farmers' movement?
I think it started off as just a farmers' movement. However,
Mm-hmm.
now with the attacks that the government are, portraying on Sikhi, the attacks that the government are doing on people of different castes, it's turned into something more than a farmers' movement. However, we do need to, our main aim is to get rid of the bills, and our main aim is to do the farmers justice.
Mm-hmm.
But there are, now a couple of other issues around the farmers issue.
I think it's brought a lot of issues to it. Like look at India, all like their laws and what they do, how they just, I mean, they have a few girls in jail right now,
Yeah.
and how they're treating them, what they're doing to them.
So there's a reason that there's more than just Sikhs protesting.
India is just a corrupt nation. It's dirty, backwards, and all that's coming to light, right? So I mean, it's become more than just a farmers' protest now. There's so many other things coming to light, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it's good that it is, finally coming into light. It's good that India isn't being called a democracy anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to realize, and I just hope that this continues.
Speaking of, you're talking about how the trauma part. So what do you think about the mental health of the people in the movement? Because that has been a topic that's like come up past like few weeks, I feel like, and people like involving themselves on social media, like like being always constantly updated with it and stuff like that, like how to navigate it.
So we are in it for the long run, right? And therefore we shouldn't and we can't burn ourselves out. We've got to stay informed and educated, but we've got to do it at our own pace. So even if that's, restoring one post, or if that's, talking to one person about the Kisan Morcha in a day or a couple of days, that's still activism. You don't need to post like 10 times a day. You don't need to have 1,000 conversations with people every second to get your voice out there. You need to ensure that your mental health comes first, and that your priority is looking after yourself, because it's only once you look after yourself that you can then start to look out for others. And it is very heartbreaking, like there was a week where I cried every single day because I was just like, look at what's happening, and these are my own people and I can't be there to help them. But you've got to, I think it's just good then to regroup and have conversations with people who feel the same as you, so you're not alone. That really helped my mental health. But also just having conversations with people who are also older than you, people who have gone through the trauma, people who can tell you about it, people who can tell you, their past experiences. So it kind of instilled a kind of warrior mindset in me that, we aren't quitters. 1947, 1984, etc. All that they've instilled in us is that we are warriors, and though people try to suppress us and oppress us, we will continuously rise.
100%. Okay, some people have some responses. I'm kind of curious what your response would be to some of these comments. It started off from farmers movement, other issues, and we can discuss them for sure. But can we fix the farmers issue first? Because it's deeper than that. If we're gonna gather people go to City Hall, let's stick to a farmers movement. Godi media wants to shift the focus to Khalistan and sovereignty. We can't do that. What do you think about that?
Wait, can you repeat the question? There was this comment about tractor being sexy. That really.
What?
If you think my tractor is sexy, you haven't seen my land yet.
Let's stick to a farmers movement. Godi media wants to shift the focus to Khalistan and sovereignty. We can't do that. What do you think?
I think we've touched upon this before. The initial movement was solely around the farmers, right? But now it's more than that. Now it's about Sikhs being targeted. It's about people of different castes being discriminated. And we've got to do justice by them. But our main focus, obviously, or one of our main focuses, should be the bills. However, we can't let injustices like these lie. If there are women in jail who are being, raped, etc., we've got to raise voices for them, as well as raising voices for the farmer bills. So it's all we can't just be selective, you know. Right now, we've got to raise awareness for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I agree. So, farming comes from Sikhi as well.
If you think my tractor is sexy, you haven't seen my Zoom/land yet. My boy.
Yes, yes, that's it.
What else? Is there anything else you wanna bring up,
No,
talk about that you feel?
that's it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming
for
on.
coming on. Should we save this?
What?
You gonna save it?
Yeah. You can say
Yeah. You mind if we save it?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for coming on. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
all the comments, guys. Do you have anything else to say? Do you want to end off on anything?
No, I think what we're doing is great, right? Just keep on raising awareness, keep on, creating unity, keep on fighting for the causes that we've just mentioned, and stay united, right? And reach out to people if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you feel like your mental health is deteriorating, just because we're all there for each other and we need to continue to be there for each other.
I agree.
Facts.
Facts. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on as well.
Thank you for having me. Take care. Have a good
You
night.
too.
You too.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.